and I'm working as a senior lecturer in the Department of Computing. Just a very brief background of what I'm doing in the department is actually I'm working on digital image processing and relate to computer vision and use machine learning technologies as well. I'm not creating new machine learning algorithms, just using them to fit my image processing the vision applications. So this is actually one of the projects we have done last year with one of the Sheffield local company called Zero Waste. And what they want to do is to use some recycled fibers to enhance their concrete structure. So that is actually related to today's topic is about using some green images, because this first is, I think it's the first of field to do those with recycled materials to enhance the concrete. Some of the concrete, like the plaster board, you will find those kind of fibers in, but most of them are plastic and they are not sustainability out there. So what they produce is some fiber product, but because it's like the batch production there, so the one of the very important questions to ask is how good those kind of product is. So they need some quality control. So they contact our university, and I'm luckily involved in this project. So that is a background of their the company. And the image they send us, or the samples they send us, is actually look like this. So it is actually quite a lot of details in those fiber, and usually you have to use your eyes to visually check what is actually going on. So they have some defects. Are they having some, different size, different length? So that the things that I need to check on those kind of materials. So one of these material is actually recyclable, and some others are also like traditional plastic fibers, and we're using those to enhance the concrete. Let's jump the slide a little bit quick. So actually this is the scope for that project. We want to use the image processing technology to automatically to control the quality, to tell to tell the people, okay, so this batch, the average length of the fiber, the percentage of the fibers which are good or not. We just want them to have a little bit the metrics to tell people, oh, our batch is good, so we can use it, or the batch is not good, so we can keep changing and improve our process to handle all this different stuff. So this is one button. Right, so this is one of the samples they send us. Basically, the setup is not very, I would say, not very expensive. We use very, commercialized or batch-produced mobile phone camera, and they put them into a platform, maybe just like a tripod, and they put a pinch of the samples on the surface. The surface has been well lit, and with the fibers to be distributed like that. And as you can see, we will not measure them one by one, because some of them are quite, close to each other, and some of them are grouped together and difficult to measure that. So that's why we tell the clients that to measure them in that details may be impossible, but at least we can give them a little bit of statistic overall performance measurement for that. So this is an input image. So what we do is we're going to enhance the image a little bit to highlight what is the fiber inside this background with this image. Because when we send this image to computer, computer can only recognize 0 and 1, and they do not see what is object, what is the interesting part of that. So we need to create a little bit software programs we call image segmentation, to highlight which part you actually need to process next. So this is the first. Wrong button again, sorry. Right, so this is the next process. I like to see the transition from here to here. So you can see we have this kind of like just to highlight where the fiber is by using some colored pixels as a white to highlight where other fiber is. This is the essential step for image processing to deal with, as we said, image segmentation. We segment the object out from the background, and then we actually start to counting them. When I put some color on it, so each different color represent, computer recognize them as a different object. So they know, this is one object here, there's another object here, so on and so forth. So we have this kind of, a little bit more towards to what we want to measure. And at the end, we can actually measure the length of each fiber by just counting how many pixels up there, and we can create a raw report for all the particles inside that fiber to give the clients. Also, this is the raw report. So let's see what kind of chart you want to draw now. Bar chart or just a histogram. You can just draw whatever you want. So this is output from our end, but our clients can actually keep using this to maybe create some interface or create some user-friendly interaction based on the image processing output we have. Okay. So this is actually very specific terms about this technique in the image processing. It's called particle analyze. So the particle analyze, as we see here, this is actually one of the examples, is to use computer vision to analyze each small component inside image, measure the size, they can measure the shape, color, so on and so forth. The technique we use here, I just bullet pointed it here to scare you, but it's actually just some terminology we usually use in the computer vision or image processing technique here. So usually we need all these steps to be considered, like image acquisition, like what kind of device we want to use. Maybe some fancy company like car company or something like that, they're rich, so they may purchase quite expensive cameras to detect very, very detailed image from their product. But like us, we have some very cost-effective solution as well. So we actually have different range of solutions, and maybe your software to enhance the solution a bit more. Even our equipment are quite basic. We can still reach the high accuracy rate by using this enhancement. Segmentation, as I mentioned earlier, it is just to let the computer to know what is actually the object you need to measure. So that is a part of it. Feature extraction could be the shape, could be the color, could be how round the object is, how long the object is. But visual is about the visual features we would like to have. And classification is on top of it, not in this project, but some of the project may want to classify, is this a good product, good batch, or is there some defect? We can do some detection on top of it as well. So this is particle analyze. Apart from the project, we do the same thing we have done earlier. We still have two examples here as well. One of them is to analyze the like this kind of particle analysis. It's the same technique, but for different application. These are screwdriver's head, and they have some printing metals labels, maybe not quite clear on the projector, but they have some printing on top of it, and they have those a visual feature to be checked. Usually they need to check by human, and along nowadays I think a lot of factories like to move cost-effective way, so they don't hire too many human to check all that. It's a quite tedious job as well, just staring at it, isn't it? But it's better to have a little bit automation on top of it, and it's also quite subjective and also objective, and also they know a lot of batches based on the single criteria of how the batch should look like without too much compromise on the efficiency and stuff. This is also quite quick once we have the right device. So that is one of them. Another one is related to the medical image processing. It is also particle analyze. Could tell me what kind of image is it? If someone has some experience before, I don't know. This is a blood cells microscope image actually. You see those donuts here, the white blood cell, and those purple circles here are what actually our warriors defend ourselves. It is white blood cells. So inside most images, we just put a little bit dyes into it, so the color will look a little bit different. By using particle analyze, we can recognize what actually is white blood cell and what is red blood cell, and can even measure the size and counting how many of them are there. So those kind of automation could be done by just using so-called particle analyze. Okay, so that is my last slide. As I said, because I'm doing the image processing, just try to show you a lot of images. So that's really that. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.